Pass Around the Smile is like your go-to friend, the one that lifts you up and backs you till the end. She's there to guide and inspire, challenge and teach, and remind you that your best self isn't out of reach. Self-development, manifestation, self-love and more, it's time to trust the process more than ever before. Welcome to Pass Around the Smile, the podcast. I'm your host, Cleo, and I am so glad you're here. Let the magic begin. Hello, my Smilies. Welcome back to another Pass Around the Smile podcast episode. I am so thankful if you are here listening to me. I love doing this, and yeah, here we are. Let's just get straight into it today. As you will have seen from the title, this episode is all about meditationing. Wow, we are off to a really good start. It's about meditationing, journaling, and rituals. And why I am doing this episode today is because last Thursday I did the most powerful ritual that I may have ever done. And I'm so excited to share with you what I did and how you can do it too. I have been feeling this year, as I've shared with you guys, especially in January, quite disconnected, very confused, foggy, negative. January was definitely the worst, and my cards really helped me through that. My yearly spread for January, I got patience and perception, really helped me through that period. My February card was the rising card. Through February, I literally rose, like I was rising. I cannot think of any other way to describe it. This is why the cards are so crazy. Like they always tell you exactly what you need to know on such a deep level that you can't quite understand sometimes in the moment. I couldn't, but then it came, and then those cards guided me through so much. And then my March card, which I was so excited for, was miracles. And I have shared this with you guys, and so many of my community members, my Smilies, said, "Oh my gosh, Cleo, we're so excited to hear about the miracles. We're so excited to see how these cards unfold for you. What happens? Please tell us." And I'm going to tell you guys today, because guess what? It's happened. I have been experiencing miracles. It is March. My March card was miracles. The way that the January, February, and March cards have flowed on has actually blown my mind. Like the yearly card spreads, they blow my mind every year, but I think this year was on like a deeper level, and we'll get to that. But why I wanted to share exactly what I did was because anyone can do this. Anyone can meditate, anyone can journal, anyone can get in touch with your intuition. You don't have to be psychic, you don't have to be spiritual, you don't have practiced it before. Does that, I think you know what I mean, right? You have the ability to meditate and to journal very powerfully. And what you can get from rituals like this is insane. But so many of us don't know how to do it properly, or we're scared to do it properly because we don't want to feel uncomfortable. This particular ritual that I did last Thursday night, I was dreading it that whole week and that whole day. And I know that sounds quite negative, but I knew it was going to be really uncomfortable for me. But sometimes discomfort brings the most enlightenment, and that is exactly what it did for me. So on March 20, I actually didn't realize that it fell on this date until the morning of, but it was the Equinox. This is what the astrology world calls March 20th, which is the start of the astrological calendar. So I'm going to read out this little description of what the Equinox is. I'm still learning about it, and I did want to tell you guys, and I'm going to say this on my podcast as a way to hold myself accountable as well. I am going to really dive in to learning more about astrology. I feel like so pulled to do it. I feel a deep connection and understanding of like the stars and the moon and the phases and the galaxy and everything that goes on up there, star signs, but I don't know enough about it. However, every month I get these like full like pools to do either readings or to write affirmations. And when I'm writing the affirmations based on your zodiac signs, which you guys go off on Instagram, by the way, I'll always base them off moon omens predictions because I feel like I don't know enough yet. But when I pull my cards, obviously that's from my own intuition. And the last card reading I did for you guys for each star sign, there was so many comments and messages I received being like, this has hit the spot. Like, I cannot believe this. So I know that I'm being pulled to do this for a reason and that you guys, the collective, are needing the guidance. So I'm going to keep doing it, but to hold myself accountable and to give you guys more insight, I'm going to learn more about astrology and all of that stuff and kind of take you along as I learn on the podcast. So let me know in the comments too if you're interested in that, because then I'll share more about what I'm learning. Okay, so the equinox, I'm reading this. This is not my quote. It says it's the start of the astrological year, a time that brings an exquisite balance of darkness and light to us all, no matter where you are in the world, with the underlying energetics of rebirth, renewal, and new beginnings. You can utilize these powerful energies to move forward toward your goals and start planting the seeds for the bright future you want to create over the astrological year ahead. So a really, really powerful day. I had already planned to do this beautiful, long, uncomfortable, incredible ritual on March 20th, because while it wasn't the date that matched up with the year before, it was the day that matched up with the year before. For me, it was the day that I went into labor last year in 2024. So the same Thursday in 2024, Luke went off to the football club that night, and that is when I went into labor. He was going to the football club for this jumper presentation thing. And the weirdest thing about this whole experience for us was that the year later, so the Thursday, the year later, he was going back to that football club for the first time in a year, basically, to go to the same jumper presentation on the same night. And it was like a full circle moment, and I was feeling all the feels because it was the night I went into labor. So I had already chosen this date to do the ritual, and then it happened to coincide with March 20th, the equinox. But why I wanted to bring this up is because we can all take advantage of powerful days in the astrological calendar. Whether it's a full moon, a half moon, a blood moon, a eclipse, something like this, the equinox, there's so many special things that happen during the astrological year that we can use to our advantage when it comes to manifestation, journaling, letting go, releasing. And it's really easy to do. Like, you can literally just Google it. What's the next big thing coming up in the astrological world? Find out what it is, and then really check in with yourself. What do I want? Do I want to manifest something at the moment? Do I need to let something go that feels really heavy? Am I needing a refresh? Am I needing just to deeply meditate and get connected? Am I wanting to connect with my loved ones in heaven? And am I wanting to really listen to my heart? There's so much that we can take advantage of. And again, as I'm learning more about it, I'll be able to share more with you guys about these days. But for now, just Google it and see what aligns with you, and trust in your intuition to do a ritual and to get in tune with yourself. I think so often we can feel so helpless and so stuck, and we think the only thing that will help us move forward or help us understand what's going on or help us gain the answers is getting them from someone else or something else. We look externally because we think, I don't have the answer. I don't know. This happened to me for years and years and years. And it even happened to me this year when I knew I had the knowledge that no one else has the answer. I have the answer, but I didn't feel like I was intuitive enough, in tune enough to get that answer. But of course I was, and of course I am. I just wasn't allowing myself the time. I wasn't allowing myself to breathe and to tune in and to actually listen for a few reasons. Because I was telling myself I didn't have time, because I was lazy, because I was tired, because I was scared of disappointing myself. And as I've shared with you guys before, because I know that meditating for me at the moment, I'm nowhere near as good as meditating as I once was, because I've fallen out of it because of motherhood and everything that has come with that since my spiritual awakening, I guess I call it now, that I experienced during my birth. But March 20th, guys, changed everything for me. And I'm so proud of myself for allowing myself the space and time to do this. But what I'm more excited about is sharing it with you, because I want you guys to make a promise to yourself that you are going to allow yourself the time, and not just 20 minutes. It needs to be a proper amount of time, an hour to 2 hours. Please allow yourself this. I know it can be hard to get that amount of time, but if you honor yourself, if you care for yourself enough to get to that next version of you, then you will allow or find yourself this time. So while I'm getting back into my spiritual self, I'm getting back in tune, I am learning to be a lot easier on myself. And what this is bringing is so much less pressure. It feels relieving. I have released a couple of episodes this year where I talk about the energetics around self-love and being kind to ourselves and not having that expectation or that pressure tied to something that like defines our worth. And I'm practicing what I preach, and it feels really good and it's working. The relief that I felt the other night doing this ritual, which I'll take you guys through, the difference between a few weeks ago, Cleo, a few months ago, Cleo, who would put so much pressure on myself to get a certain result out of a journaling session or a meditation. The difference between the Cleo now, who goes into a meditation or a journaling session with no expectation, no pressure, not looking at it as a chore. Because as if self-development, self-reflection, spiritual practices, as if that is a chore. I don't know about you, but I have been seeing it as a chore. I've been seeing it as something that I have to do or I should do, not something that I get to do. How lucky are we to be able to sit down, close down our eyes, escape into another world, visualize, feel, release emotion, let it go, and then come out enlightened and feeling freer or more excited about what we were just visualizing because it's something we want to manifest. What a joy it is to be able to open up a journal, take a pen to paper, and have free space to just write and let go. This is supposed to be fun. Yes, sometimes it is uncomfortable. The real work that creates real change is uncomfortable, but the feelings and emotions and the changes and the experiences that you will feel following this discomfort, following actually listening to your heart and going deep within, far outweighs the discomfort that you will feel while you're doing it. It's really exciting what this can bring. As I mentioned, my March card was miracles, but I put no pressure on what this miracle would be or the miracles would be. And I've actually changed my perception of what a miracle is for me. And you'll kind of get that because what I'm going to do is I'm going to read you some of my actual journal because I think it'll really help you guys. I'm so passionate about helping you guys journal properly. Not properly as in there's only one way to journal. No, there's no right and wrong when journaling. However, you can journal very on a surface level, which won't really help you. And you can dig a lot deeper, which is why I created the Your Mindful Journal with the 4 different sections: release, connect, manifest, gratitude. I have been using this powerful practice, and I know I created it, but I'm going to say it's bloody good. And it works. So we'll get to that. I want to tell you about my ritual now, what I did, how it went, what I experienced, and then we're going to dive into the personal thoughts that are in my journal because I know it's going to help you guys. Okay, so March 20th this year, it fell on a Thursday, so it wasn't quite matching up with the dates by one day, but that's just obviously because the days of the year change as the year moves on. But as I mentioned, it was the Thursday night that Luke went back to the football club for the first time in a year to the same jumper presentation. So it was all feeling very full circle. I have opened up to you guys how I've been feeling mostly. There are some things that I am yet to understand myself that maybe one day I will share with you. But postpartum has been really hard. It's been full on. I never expected the enormity of what I would feel. And I've been moving through it, and I'm really proud of how I've been moving through it. I've been seeing my psychologist. I've been diving into, journaling and meditating when I can. Have I been doing it enough? Probably not, but I think my perception now has changed, and I will, because I'm so excited to experience these beautiful feelings that come afterwards. So what I did is I put Indy to bed and I cleaned the house. Start with cleaning the house because the house was clean when I went into labor, and I wanted to recreate this night for myself. You guys might think I'm crazy for what I'm going to tell you next, but I know there's no judgment here. And I think that what I did was really powerful and it worked. So I want to share it with you guys. Birth, going into labor, the days in the hospital after when Indigo was born is something that I miss terribly and something that I've experienced a huge amount of nostalgia over. Like most days, I will wake up and I will miss it so much. Even though I got to experience it, I got to experience the joys, even though I have a happy, healthy baby and every age I keep thinking that it's just getting better and better, I still miss it and it almost feels like a loss, even though it's not something I lost, it's something that I experienced and I got to experience, and I'm so grateful for that. What I have realized is that I have been almost grieving time as it moves on because I'm feeling like it's over and it's lost on me. So what I knew I needed to do was I needed to recreate and relive this night so I could gain some sort of closure. Now, I'm saying some sort of closure because I was not aiming for closure. I was not aiming to be completely healed. I was not aiming for like a complete change, or I was definitely not aiming for perfection. This is when all the pressure just melted off me. I was just aiming to get one step further. And what I've been doing as I have been on the journey to reconnecting to my spiritual self is I am celebrating every small step and every small win as if it is huge. This has changed so much for me. I am back to manifesting, guys. I am manifesting really exciting opportunities. Money is another thing that has been coming very, very effortlessly to me in March. And little synchronicities and signs, which I will tell you about, have all been coming to me effortlessly throughout March as miracles, because my cards told me I was going to experience miracles, and they are coming left, right, and center because I am not striving for perfection. I am not striving for closure. I am not striving to completely process things, because I now understand that life is a whole journey of processing, a whole journey of reflecting. We are never going to be the perfect person that we want to be because the perfect person does not exist. So enough of striving for that. And I just realized I'm not ever going to get closure from my birth, because why would I want to close that chapter? Because it was so beautiful. It was so hard. It was so incredible. It was also heartbreaking at the same time. Like, it was everything good and bad all in one. So I don't want closure from that. And that's what I've realized. So because this pressure all melted away, this is why I was able to experience this ritual in the way that I was. So what I did was I put the TV show on. It was Palm Royale, that show that Kristen Wiig is in. She's the main character. So I put that TV show on for the first time in a year because I went into labor while I was watching that show. I was on my birthing ball when I went into labor. My birthing ball is not around anymore, but I sat on my poof instead, and I held my clary sage oil because on the night I went into labor, I had clary sage oil burning. And we all know that smells can just bring back so many memories and really take you back to that place. I just wanted to be back there. I wanted to experience it again so I could get, as I mentioned, somewhat of a closure, more of a reflection, more of just a feeling of gratitude around it. So I was smelling the clary sage, I was watching the show, I was looking around at my clean house with the candle on, and I really took myself back there. I'm about to go into labor. I was breathing in, I was shutting my eyes, I was feeling all of the feels, I was experiencing it all again. And then when I felt really calm, I went upstairs, and that is when I went into labor. And I had already set up on my bed my 3 decks of cards, my Pass Around the Smile cards, obviously, my Your Mindful journal. I had a rose quartz crystal out because I put my hand into my pocket of positivity, and that's the one that felt like it needed to come out. I had the smells, and I had my birth playlist playing. So sounds, smells, anything that you want to recreate that takes you back to something. And I'm not saying like we should be living in the past and we should be trying to relive all of our memories. For me, this was important. For me, I knew this was going to be powerful. And you might have parts in your life that you want to relive so that you can really take your mind back. Remember that when we are visualizing, when we're seeing something in our mind, our body, our spirit, our soul cannot, well, maybe our soul can tell, because I'm pretty sure our soul could tell, but you know what I mean. Our mind cannot tell the difference between what we are imagining and what is happening in real life. So I was really taking myself back there because that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to feel it all again. I wanted to experience it so I could then let it go and I could move on with gratitude. I also did something that I recommend. I played a video of my birth. And again, I'm not talking about everyone's births. Like, you may not have given birth before. Playing a video of an old memory and listening to the sounds. So for me, it was the sound of the shower, because I was in the shower for a lot of my labor. I could hear the sound of the shower going while I was journaling. I was pulling cards. I was meditating. I just had it all playing. I was just creating this surreal experience for me. And I was really starting to go to another world. And it was feeling really, really exciting. I then got into a meditation. The first meditation I did was a reflection meditation. I took myself back. But what I realized, and this is really important, I want you to listen up. I got to like 2 minutes and I was like, nah, it's not working. It got to like 4 minutes and then I started thinking, is Indy crying? I'll just check the monitor again. Then it got to 5 minutes and I was thinking about my dinner the next night. And then I was thinking about crumpet. And then I was thinking about what I'm going to have for dessert. And I started to get really frustrated with myself. It's not working. I've put in all this effort and I still can't do it. Old Cleo would have got really down on myself and then would have probably stopped the meditation and went on with my life and then felt bad about it later. But what I did is I just restarted the meditation, and then I restarted the meditation again and again. And I think I restarted it like 4 times maybe. And this is what's important about allowing yourself like an hour to 2 hours when you're going to sit down and do like a proper ritual. Create the space, allow yourself time, and really allow yourself to get into it. Because you know, when you get to like the end of a 15-minute meditation and maybe at like the 13-minute mark, you're just starting to actually get into it. This is why you want to create the whole ritual. So I had already done like 45 minutes of like reflecting, going back into my memories, smelling the smells, hearing the sounds, to get to this point. And it still wasn't working, but I was not going to be hard on myself because I know energetically that would just, damage the energy inside my body. It would not allow the rest of the ritual to go nicely and smoothly. Instead, I was like, I'm just going to restart it. And I reminded myself that the practice of meditation is not actually about staying in it. It's about the practice of coming back to it when you get out of it, if that makes sense. So having the power to go, this is okay. I'm having a normal human experience. I am getting distracted, or I am feeling uncomfortable, or I am frustrated that I'm not like reaching that spiritual connection that I once could have. And it's about going, oh my gosh, I've sat down and I'm doing this. So I'm going to start again and I'm going to give it another shot. By the 4th time, I was meditating at a really nice level for me. It wasn't incredible. It wasn't anything groundbreaking, but for me, I'm all about celebrating every single win at the moment, as I mentioned. So I was being really kind to myself and I was almost like congratulating myself in the moment. And I just started to really enjoy this experience. And once I came out of that meditation, I went back to my old journal entries the week before I gave birth. And wow, I really recommend going back and actually reading your old journal entries, because I journal so much. I've got like journals and journals full. It's kind of hard to do that because there's so much. But because I knew, okay, I'm going back to this week that was so, extreme in my life, I knew where to go and what to read. And I wanted to share some of what I wrote with you because I think you'll think it's really cool. So this was on the 19th of March, 2024. I said, I'm in a funny stage where I'm trying to enjoy the stillness and excitement of where I am, having my baby safely tucked in my tummy, not working and just being. It's really special. I'm in no rush. There is no pressure. It's nice. But at the same time, it's so hard to ignore the discomfort that I am in and trust that I will soon go into labor spontaneously. I haven't let myself sit in guilt around it though, which I am really proud of. And I want to write this so future me knows I didn't wish this time away completely. This is such a special time, Cleo. You did not waste it. You are doing your best. I know that this is enough. I am looking forward to a beautiful spiritual experience. Why I wanted to bring this up was because I want to encourage you guys to journal to the future version of you, to let the future version of you know that you actually are doing your best right now and you are making the most of every moment. So often we will sit in regret thinking, why wasn't I happier back then? Why didn't I enjoy the time when all my family, friends, and pets and loved ones were safe and healthy and happy? Why didn't I embrace how good I had it when I had that job? Why was I grumpy for those years when I had this and that? Why was I complaining when my body looked like that? We all have these experiences where we look back and think, I wasted it. I wasn't present enough. And now I'm here and I've wasted my life. And we can get into this negative spiral where we're thinking, just like we kind of get hard on ourselves for not appreciating every moment. But we go through ebbs and flows. The law of rhythm is taking us up and down and in and out, as I've talked about before. We are never going to be truly positive and happy and thankful 24/7. We're not going to be, and we're never going to be. It's easy to look at our future and think, oh, when I have this and that, I'm just going to be so present and I'm going to be a goddess angel who just meditates and really sits in the present moment. I'm never going to go on my phone. I'm going to eat, natural organic food all the time and just be my very best self. It's easy to think you'll do that, but I bet you won't. Life is about balance. While I had some of the hardest times in my life during pregnancy, I also had some of the best times. And reading this, I was brought to tears because it was so nice for me to know, Cleo, you miss this so much right now. I miss being pregnant, which is absolutely so disgustingly wild because I was so sick and I was so uncomfortable. But I miss it because it was also so, so special, which goes to show we can be going through really, really hard times, but there are elements that are beautiful at the same time. Maybe there's something really terrible that you have gone through where you are grieving someone or something, and that memory is so tainted with just absolute heartbreak. 100% empathize with that. And I guess what I'm trying to say is there will be elements around that grief, maybe where you received a beautiful support from a friend, or you were able to meditate because you were so heartbroken that you went into this spiritual realm. There will be tiny bits and pieces that you can grab from every element, every time in your life to remind yourself that it wasn't all so extremely negative and the worst thing in the world. And again, I don't want to feel insensitive when I'm saying that because you could have gone through the worst thing in the world for you, and that is okay. But what I'm trying to say is, for me, reading this part of my journal, it was such a nice reminder that actually I did make the most of it how I could. I did my best in the moment. So when you are going through hard times or good times, write to your future self, because let's say it's a good time, right? And this is what I have now done since Indigo's been a baby. Every month I'm writing in my journal, future Cleo, please look back and know that you are staring at her right now. You are squishing her. You are loving her. You are staring at her. You are being present enough for you right now. You are doing the absolute best you can. So I know that when I look back when she's 17 and I'm thinking, oh, I wasted so much of it. I worked too much, or I was scrolling on my phone every now and then, or I did this, I did that. I should have done this. I should have done that. Actually, no, I can read back my journal and I can get the facts that I was enough and I did enough. And it's just so comforting to know that. So that's just a journaling tip. And now I'll keep going with my ritual. So that really helped me going back. Actually, I have one more thing I want to read you, just because I was bawling when I read this. So I've told you guys, if you haven't listened already, go back and listen to my birth story. But I have never been so in touch, in tune spiritually in that last kind of like week and then during my birth. I wrote this, it was on the same day. So on the 19th, I said, "Thank you, divine timing and divine guidance. I am strong, focused, calm, and ready to love this baby with all my being. I have had a feeling this baby would come on the 20th, 21st, or 22nd for so long now. The yes card has just come flowing out of the deck. I know I'm right. Today is the 19th, but it's coming so soon. I know it will be on one of these dates." And then I said, "I also keep pulling the rebirth card. I'm so ready to step into this next version of me. It's time to let go and enjoy." And then in brackets, I said, "Next time I write, will he or she be here? Love heart." And then the next page says the 24th of March. "Our angel girl Indigo Valerie was born on the 22nd of March at 11:16 p.m. I can't believe it. I'm staring at you right now, Indigo, and you are my dream girl. I love you with my whole heart." And I won't even go on because it goes for long. But just like, does this not show you how powerful journaling is? I want this to encourage you to journal out your experiences, your feelings, your negative emotions, your happy emotions. And literally, this is why I created the Your Mindful Journal, because it has the sections that you need so you can unapologetically, in the release section, release your fears, what's holding you back, what's making you feel guilty, what you are judging yourself on, any discomfort. And then there's all these journal prompts. But then there's the connection section. And this is the section that I've been writing in so much lately. And when I was doing my ritual, it was all in the connection section because I was getting connected to myself again, connected to my higher self, connected to my higher powers. And the guidance and the insight that I was gaining from just writing in this and using the journal prompts that I have in the connection section was so powerful. And then of course you've got the manifest section, which we all know what manifesting is because you listen to the Pass Around the Smile podcast and you love manifesting. But after you release and you connect, that is when manifesting becomes so easy and so natural. And then of course we end on gratitude, which is like beautiful rainbow flowery section. So yeah, I won't, this is not me selling my journal, although, but this is just me telling you just how powerful this journaling experience was for me, and to be able to reflect on what I wrote was huge. So let's go back to the ritual. So I read those that night. Then I went on to do my inner child meditation, which is actually on the podcast. You can just scroll back and do the inner child meditation. I had a really surreal moment. Now I'm like an hour and a half deep into this spiritual practice. So I am meditating the best I've meditated since before I was pregnant. And it was such a good feeling. And in this inner child meditation, I saw myself and I was like maybe 8. And then the 8-year-old, like myself, morphed into 8-year-old Indigo. And it was just so wild. It was such a wild, it was beautiful and crazy. I think I know I've seen what she's going to look like now at 8 years old. And it's a lot like me, which is so cute. But it's all about like reminding yourself, I think, during the meditation, during the journaling, that you are doing your best, that your best is enough, that you may not be experiencing some huge insight right now in this ritual that you're doing, or this meditation, or the card pulling, or whatever, but trusting that it will come, and trusting that every small shift is a huge reason to celebrate, because every small shift you are getting closer to unlocking the insights, the ideas, the signs, the synchronicities that you so deserve and that are there just waiting for you. That's the thing. Your manifestations, everything that you want, you've already created it. If you've imagined it, you've created it, because it is just energy. It is already there. You just need to let the universe know that you are ready to experience it, that you are ready to bring it into your fruition. In January and February, I was not ready to experience miracles. I was not. I had so much to go through and to grow through, and I did. I went inward. I got uncomfortable. I did the real work. March, I'm experiencing miracles. As I mentioned before, I have changed my perception of miracles. Miracles to me now aren't some big, huge, life-changing shift. Miracles to me are the small little signs and coincidences that come all day, every day at the moment for me and guide me to where I need to be or to what I need to know that will then lead to something really cool and exciting happening. You know why? It's because I am creating this for myself. And it's an amazing reminder that we are creating our dream lives. You're not waiting for someone else to do it for you. You are in control. You get to create your dream life and you get to do it right now. You don't have to wait. How? How do you do it? You do these rituals. You do these practices. Now, it doesn't have to be a big 2-hour ritual like I did. This was probably, for me, I'm going to be honest, probably like a once in a year thing that I'll do. I'm going to try and do it more now that like Indigo is a little bit more independent. But like this was a big thing for me to do. I don't do 2-hour rituals like hardly ever. I will do card readings all the time and little meditations here and there all the time, but do what you need to do to get in tune, to allow yourself to get the guidance and the insight that you can then use to gain that momentum to manifest your desires. It's all a flow-on effect. And I'll keep going so I can tell you how this flow-on effect has worked for me because I so badly want you to experience it. And I'm so excited for you because you can experience it today. Nothing is stopping you. You're already listening to a self-development podcast, which I hope is going to make you feel really optimistic and powerful and excited. Like you have so much power within your mind. Your next best step, the next best thing for you is right there. You just have to grab it and you can grab it. You don't have to wait for anyone else. You are the one that has the power. Yes, you can listen to your heart. Yes, you can tune into your higher self. Yes, you can get spiritual and connected. Yes, you are intuitive and you don't have to wait. Yes, meditation is a practice and you'll get better and better and better. But the exciting thing about all this spiritual woo-woo stuff is that you don't have to wait. And you can tune in and listen to your gut right now. And that little shift, that little change could be the puzzle piece that allows everything else to unfold. It's time to let your guard down. And it is time to just trust yourself and trust the process. So the coolest part about this whole ritual, it couldn't have got cooler for me, I thought. It was already really amazing. And then it was time to do my cards. And I knew I had my 3 decks out, but I knew I had to pull 1 card from my Positive Guidance card deck, and I had to pull 3 cards from my Positive Guidance Oracle deck. And I just knew. So out I pulled the 1 card, and I don't look at them straight away. I like to turn them at the end and then see what they are. So I pulled 1 from the Positive Guidance card deck, and then I pulled 3 from the Oracle card deck. I flipped the first card, and it was the Gratitude card. And my Smilies, I'm sure you all know what the Gratitude card looks like. It is this beautiful purple, deep purple galaxy, stars, magical. It's beautiful. There's like a little lake at the bottom. It's like this magical fairyland, galaxy, university, purpley world. The gratitude message in itself was exactly what I needed because I have been feeling so heavy emotionally on and off since giving birth that I knew it was all leading up to this ritual. And I was feeling really kind of a little bit like sick. I'll just tell you guys what I'm thinking because this is always an honest and vulnerable podcast. But I was feeling really sick about doing this ritual because I knew how uncomfortable it was going to be. But I just want to be careful with the word sick because often that sick feeling in our stomachs can mean to not do something. But it was the sick feeling where I knew I had to do this and I knew I had to be brave. So just when you're experiencing that, differentiate what that means for you. That I was really nervous because I knew it was going to be big. But once I had completed the ritual, I was moving into the step of gratitude. I knew all I had to do now was be so incredibly grateful for this past year. Indigo's turning 1. It was such a big deal. And this is why I was doing the ritual, by the way. I didn't really say that before, but I think it's obvious. I was doing the ritual because she was turning 1 and because it was a year since I gave birth. And it was like full circle moment. The energy, the astrology calendar, it was like it was all happening again. And I really took myself back to that time last year. And it was just, again, such a powerful day to do it with the Equinox. But yeah, the gratitude message in itself was enough. That brought me to tears because I was like, this is the perfect card for me. I have let go of all this heavy emotion and I can now focus on gratitude and enjoy the weekend of her birthday and really reflect on all the good things. I dealt with the yuckiness and it felt so relieving. Like, we can deal with all the stuff that feels heavy and we can release it. Again, not looking for complete closure, complete processing, or complete perfection. No, but oh my God, I felt lighter. I felt like I shedded layers out of my mind, off my shoulders, off my heart. It felt incredible, guys. This is why I'm so passionate about you doing it too. But why the tears then turned into like bawling was because, again, if you listen to my birth podcast, you'll know. When I was transitioning into the pushing stage during labor, I went off into a deep purple universe. I was with my nanny waters. It was the biggest spiritual awakening I've ever experienced. I was euphoric. I was not on earth. I was up there. I was with my nan. I was with Indigo's spirit, and it was all purple. And when I had Indigo, I realized that that purple light was Indigo light. And the gratitude card, out of all of the cards, I was using 3 decks of 42 cards, and the one card that came out literally represented that purple universe that I was in when I was giving birth, the reason why I was doing this whole ritual. The next card, if it couldn't get any more magical, the next card I pulled was Ride the Wave. Again, if you listen to my birth podcast, you will know that Ride the Wave, that very card was removed a year earlier from my deck and put on my birth board in the birth room with me. Actually, we forgot the birth board in the end, but we got it up on my computer screen. That was the card that helped me through labor, and my mantra for labor was Ride the Wave. Like, could it not? Like, you can't make this stuff up. My jaw was on the floor. Like, I know there's magical energy in these cards. I know, because I created them with so much magical energy and intention. And for years I've known that they're magical. But this one really blew me out of my room. Literally. I just sat there and I bawled tears of relief, because I felt so protected in that moment by my angels, by my spirit guides, by my nanny waters, by my grandma, by Luke's nan, my feminine powers. I felt so protected. I felt so in tune. I felt so connected. And I felt so proud of myself for allowing myself to get to the stage where I was connected enough to pull those cards. The next 2 cards were incredible as well, but I'm just going to focus on those 2 cards for the purpose of this podcast. Now that I'm feeling more aligned and relaxed, I was on the way to feeling more aligned and relaxed before this ritual. It wasn't this ritual that like changed everything completely for me, but it was like the end, like big finale to March for me, which was the Miracles card, to like really truly experience everything and let it go. I have been experiencing miracles, and now I want to tell you what has been going on. So there's a few little things that aren't so little after all. One of them, a good example, is, so we have this series of books, and it's not a popular series of kids' books, but Indy loves it, and she's ripped it because she's like read it so many times. But on the morning of her birthday, we were reading it, and I flipped to the back and I saw the other versions of the book that they had. And I said, oh, look, there's a strawberry version of the book. We'll get that for you because you love strawberries. Strawberries are her favorite food at the moment. Anyway, we go to her birthday, and one of my best friends literally got her the strawberry book, like that book in that series, which like there are thousands and thousands and thousands of incredible kids books out there. She happened to get that one. She had no idea that I literally said it that morning, and it just went to show that like when you put something out, when you are vibrating high, I've been vibrating so high since that ritual. Like, I feel like I need to actually go home and visualize something that I really, really want, because I could manifest it within seconds. That's how I feel at the moment, and that's where I want you guys to get, because it's such a powerful state to be in. So that's one example. Another example was, everyone told me that when we were trying to get that when the time comes that we're trying to get Indy into kindy, that it would be really hard, that you had to have her on wait list since birth. You won't get into the ones you wanted. Like, getting into kindy is so hard. And for the whole year that she's been born, I have just chosen to have a deep understanding that we would get into the kindy that we wanted so easily. And that understanding wasn't just a deep understanding, it was a belief. And this shows you that when you have a belief, it can't be touched, it can't be changed. When you believe something to your core, you will create that thing with ease. And this is what this has taught me as well. I did not let what anyone was saying deter me from my belief. And you guessed it, we got into the most perfect kindy for us. I was hardly on the wait list, just divine timing worked out. We get to choose to believe what we want to believe. And yeah, that was another example. Okay, another example. Again, no, they're not little. I'm not going to say they're little. They're big to me, and I think it's exciting, and it's all just reminders of how powerful we are. So just the other day, I was looking through Indy's little baby cookbook, and I was like, I just really need some of those like sticky notes that are like the thin little ones that you put in like bookmarks. I've never had them before. I don't know where to get them, but I could see what they looked like. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to go buy some of them. I need some of them. Oh, it'd be so handy if I had it right now, because I can't fold these pages because it's such a nice cookbook, but like I'm seeing all these recipes that I want to make. Anyway, an hour later, I got out Luke's school lunchbox because he went back to school today for the first time in 4 months because he's been on leave. So we haven't touched his lunchbox in 4 months. Get the lunchbox out. What's in there? The colourful little bookmark sticky notes, like literally what I saw in my mind. Never seen them before. There they are. Here you go. Ask and you shall receive. When you are vibrating high, you will just find it and you will receive it. The last one, actually I got two more. So I messaged my friend the other day and I was like, hey, what was that brand you were talking about? I want to like jump on and buy something from this brand. She replied straight away and I was like busy, but I was like, yeah, okay, cool. That's the brand. Like take a mental note. Went back to my work and then my manager called me and she said, hey, really good news. Like this brand, said the name, really wants to work with you. It's like a really great campaign, like great pay, like, and I think you're going to really align with the brand. Like we always make sure I align first and make sure it's good before I do it. And then I thought, hang on a second. I went back to the text from my friend. Same brand. How many brands are there in this world? What are the odds of that? So low. But it happened. Last one. So when Luke first went on his 4 months leave to celebrate, we went to our favorite local Thai. The sun was setting. This was in like October or November of 2024. We just sat in gratitude, like you're now on 4 months of leave. We're coming up to Christmas. Our baby girl is at such a fun age. Like how lucky are we to have this leave? Like, wow, this is going to be so amazing. We're sitting at dinner. We loved it. We took a photo out the front of the restaurant and like just had a really nice time, went home, forgot about it, obviously, because, it's just our local Thai restaurant. And then last Friday, it was about 3:30. We said, let's go out, get out of the house. It had been raining. Let's go for a walk. So we went around, our like beach for a walk, and then it was 4:30 and we saw our local Thai and I was like, God, I'm starving. And he's like, same. And I was like, should we just get dinner at like 4:30? Like, who cares? So we went and sat down. We got a wine and a beer because we're like, why not? It's Friday. The sun was setting. We're at our local favorite Thai shop. And then I started talking about, oh, Luke, it's your last day of leave today. Like on Monday, after 4 months, you go back to work. Like, let's talk about this. Like, wow, what an amazing 4 months. Like, what have we done? What have we experienced? Look at how much she's grown. And then we both looked at each other and we're like, oh my God, we came here on the first day of his leave. Now we're here on the last day of his leave and we did not realize it was a full circle moment. I cried again because apparently I don't stop crying these days. Very emotional about time, nostalgic about everything. But like, wow, the things that are happening, the signs, the synchronicities, the guidance that I'm receiving as well every day at the moment is like everything that I've been wanting. And I know that it's from the efforts that I made in January when I was going through some really, really hard times mentally, feeling so emotional about so many different things. And I did the work. I listened to my cards. I changed my perception and I had patience with myself. Come February, I was rising. I was still patient. I knew I was rising. And March, the miracles, they've come. Thank you, my Smilies, for being so supportive of me during this journey. This journey is continuing. Again, I'm not striving for perfection anymore, or closure, or healing, complete healing. I'm striving for healing, but I'm not striving for complete healing. I'm doing these practices, the journaling, the meditations, the rituals, the walking meditations, that whatever. I'm doing them for fun, as a gift to myself, not for a result. When you stop meditating and journaling and doing these rituals and practices for a result, you will have a far more powerful experience, and I'm so excited to hear about it. Post in the Facebook community. Let's make this a little topic. Maybe I'll even do a heading. Let me know what you experience. Allow yourself this time. Do the work because it works. To finish off, I wanted to read you what I wrote. I've just been on a trip to New Zealand. What a magical healing place. Like at one stage, I'm like swimming in the freshwater, crystal clear blue lake, surrounded by mountains and nature. And I was floating there and I was just like, wow, this is so healing. Like it was incredible. But I did some journaling while I was in New Zealand, and I wanted to read this out as like inspiration and guidance for you guys, because sometimes you say to me, I don't actually know what to write. I don't know how to do it. Again, in the Your Mindful Journal, there's so many prompts and it literally tells you what to do to have a powerful journaling experience. But this is what I wrote. I want to manifest inner peace and calm. Everything I want, clarity, energy, connection to self, endless time, beautiful opportunities, health and happiness will come as a flow on from this, as in a flow on from inner peace and calm. And then I wrote, I am manifesting a peaceful mind, a balanced body, a clear and inspired soul. I am worthy of having time and space to myself so that I have space, love, energy, and capacity to be the beautiful, peaceful, fun, and caring mother, wife, daughter, sister, and friend that I am. Sometimes you just get in the flow and it feels really good. And that was one of those days for me. Your journaling doesn't have to sound good. It doesn't have to make sense. A lot of what's in this journal makes no sense. My writing is disgustingly messy and it's all over the place. But that day I thought I was really in tune. And for me, I knew I had to share that with you guys, because we don't always have to strive to manifest a car, money, a handbag, an experience, a person, a thing. At the moment, I'm manifesting inner peace and calm. And I know that if I manifest inner peace and calm, all of those other things will come as a result from that. Thank you so much for listening, guys. I love you so much. Please remember to like, subscribe, follow, comment, engage with me. It really helps me keep creating content. You're amazing. Mwah. I'll put all the links in the show notes to join my Facebook community, to purchase the Your Mindful Journal, my Oracle cards. It's all there for you to purchase. I ship worldwide. And let the magic begin.